forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Hi, Syria. Hi, Seema. How are you?
I'm fine, Ranjeet. How are you?
Wonderful. So, what questions do we have today? Let's start with what people's concerns are with reference to their EB1.
Sure, Ranjit. Today's featured question is, how long of a track record is needed to prove the sustained acclaim? Is a short burst of success enough, or must it span many years?
It's a very kind of a very, very intense question and very, very interesting question because let's understand one thing. We have seen people who are 26, 27-year-olds, people who are 30-year-olds, people who are 50-year-olds getting EB1A from the program. And this question pops up very in a very important manner that, okay, how do you achieve that success? And more important, how do you establish sustained acclaim actually? Now let's understand, I think the whole question is a little misplaced here because it is talking about burst of success. Now please understand that success is different from acclaim. Please understand one thing. Acclaim has a more connotation of impact. Success could be self-gratification. Let's understand. So it is not really a success, it's about the impact. Having said this, let's understand that whenever you talk about a sustained acclaim, it is not temporal. It means that it is not necessarily a function of time. It's a function of the intensity of the work that you have done. For example, you could achieve something that people take a lifetime to achieve. Okay? Now, in that sense, sustained acclaim has three dimensions. The first is, of course, the impact, the what has happened because of your work. That's the most important thing. Number two is, how much time does it take to achieve that? It's not about, how long you did that, how far you did that. The question is that how much time did it take to achieve that success? And most important is that how much time does it take in terms of even acquire the knowledge to do that? Now, let's say, for example, somebody is a rocket scientist. Now, you don't become a rocket scientist who's, let's say, a rocket can go to Mars and come back without refueling. You can't just do that overnight. You need to go to school, you need to go to masters, you need to do a lot of learning, and sustained acclaim will be a function of all the things put together. So even the acquisition of the knowledge that it takes is required. It depends on your field of expertise. It depends on what parameters are you working on. Certain fields and certain disciplines and certain impact do take time. You can't have, because it is a function of, it is not a function of instantaneous. It was originally believed that, especially if you are doing something in sciences, it takes a lot of time. But we have had people who, even at the age of 20, 21, 25, got Nobel Prizes in physics and sciences. So it is not really a function of one-time activity. It is a matter of what efforts has gone in, and most important, what is the impact. We have had people who were pretty young actually. But then the most important thing I would like to point out here is that when it comes to EB1A, if you are doing the things in a most articulated manner, in a way, most ethical manner, most professional manner, and organically you are trying to, kind of achieve that success, it is very much possible. Let's go a little more deeper here. I think this question is more stemming from the fact that if I join the program or if I do EB1, if I try to do something, I write 10 papers in a matter of 6 months, will that be sufficient here? But the whole question is, can you establish that you have a propensity and that intensity ready with you right now to write those 10 papers? Maybe you have been preparing that for ages. Maybe you are using certain data in writing those papers based on your past experience. There are certain things that can you establish that. You may write it today. You may do judging. But you cannot have everything as a burst. That's the whole challenge. You never had that knowledge before. You never had that skill before. and suddenly somebody doing things for you. I mean, that's one of the most dangerous things in EB1A ecosystem. Somebody doing things for you, and then you are claiming that as your success, and you are trying to fit into the criteria. That's going to be the worst thing that can happen. But if you, let us say, for example, let's take it a case that there is a particular software engineer. He has been doing coding and he's sharing his experiences today. He's talking about that today. He is being interviewed for the work that he has done in media today because of the overall work that he has done. That's wonderful. You have been doing. I think it is definitely burst. You see, understand that sustained acclaim is not about applause. It's about impact. The day you realize that, I think that's going to be good for you actually. And how many people are getting impacted by it? You do something today by virtue of the knowledge that you have acquired over, say, 5 years of learning or 10 years of learning, and your work is going to kind of even outlive you for the next 100 years. I can tell you, no one can stop you from getting your EB money, even if it is done in the last 1 month or 2 months. You create a work that can last. Okay, I mean, it's a very relative thing. Okay, you do something and it cannot even outlive your next 20 days. Then it just gets lost somewhere. Then it is definitely not the right way. You do something even today, obviously it has to be based on your knowledge, your skill, your expertise, and it can sustain. Now the word here I'm using is sustain even your lifetime. If you can have something like this, that is wonderful. So yes, I mean, burst of success is definitely not a good thing to do. Impact is more important, and time is not about only the past, it's also about the future. The day you understand it, the time you understand it, it's going to be very good for you. Okay, so I think this is my response to this question. And guys, if you have any more questions or something, just reach out to us, and before we move to the next question. So Syria, let's move to the next question.
Absolutely. So next we have eager to know about EB1A approval progression. Adjustment of status received on July 24th. Biometrics August 19. No update yet. Case is in the National Benefit Center.
Okay, now you need to kind of talk to a lawyer about it, because I'm getting little National Benefit Center. If it has gone there, your adjustment of status received biometric on August 19th. So I think things should be moving well for you, and just talk to a lawyer. I would say that you can reach out to USCIS, write them a mail, and we have seen that they are very prompt in responding actually. Congratulations on your EB1A, first of all. But nowadays, I think the best way, what I'm suggesting to our students also, to go for a concurrent filing for EB1A and your I-145. And if you want advanced payroll also, you can do it, and you can also ask for EAD also at the same time. We have seen many of our students getting that actually. So I would suggest that that's the best way to move forward. Okay, so let's move to the next question.
Next question is, Ranjeet, what makes an expert recommendation letter compelling, and what are the common mistakes that weaken the otherwise strong letters?
Okay, so wonderful question actually, and I think, guys, this is going to be very important for each and everybody. First of all, let's understand you are talking about expert recommendation letter. So I assume that it is not for let's say it is not for your critical role. So it is more for your, let's say, original contribution or something. So it is coming from an expert. Number one, expert has to be independent. Let's understand. It cannot be from the person that is known to you. Number two, it should be he or she should be related to your field. That's important. Okay. Number three is it should directly talk about the work, success metrics, qualitative and quantitative. Now we have to see the regulatory language, what they're talking about. It speaks about original contribution. So first, that originality has to be demonstrated. The what is exact nature of your contribution has to be explained. And another aspect is significant to the field. It cannot be so significant. The word significant again here is something akin to what we spoke about is sustained. Now it is similar, not exactly the same. So significant has, what are the metrics for that significance? Either it will be academic significance. How many citations you got, what kind of paper it was published, or whatever you're talking about. Or second would be application. who has applied it, what is the impact of that application. Now the intensity of that to do this may require some framework. So what framework are you using to prove this actually? What is the standard methodology that you are proving? What are the metrics that you are establishing to demonstrate to make it compelling? And most important, then at the end of the letter, you should also have the name of the person, the contact details. It should be properly signed as per the USCIS norms. So, once you do all these things, that makes it a compelling. It has to have a structure. It has to have a proper format. The CV of the person who is giving the letter should be there. This is the best way moving forward. Otherwise, I think it just becomes, you may get an RFE which may say that the letters are not very persuasive, or if you use the regulatory language, they will say the letters is just using the regulatory language. It will just be very mechanical and it will not suit the purpose. So this is the way how I would say expert opinion or expert recommendation letter, it should be there. Let's move to the next question.
Of course. The next question is, how important is to narrowly define one's field of endeavor, and what's the best strategy for doing this to strengthen a case narrative?
I think this is a core concern. And in fact, I'm liking this because almost, I won't even say 99%, I would say almost 100% of the RFEs and NOIDs that I have seen, and one of the concerns in everywhere they had, the field was not defined. Either it was defined too narrowly, okay, which is normally a rare which I have seen. And second thing is that it is too broad. Your designation should not be you are not defined your identity by virtue of your designation. Project manager, data scientist is not an expertise. Expert is an academic. You see, traditionally when you see field of endeavor or expertise, we either mostly, people, it is not a function of your business title. It is not a function of your academic achievement. I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, that is not something, or your business title. It is not a function of that. Also, at the same time, you have to understand it is not a function of a traditional academic disciplines that we have. Okay, I am a web designer. Fine. That is not going to help you actually. You see, you can't have something which you are taught. In fact, it may be a combination of all. It's to determine a field of endeavor for the purpose of EB1A. People in the program have to do some lot of exercises. That's we have a follow something called as a done process. The D stand for defining your expertise, organizing your criteria, nurturing the gaps of whatever is the profile, and then execute your application. That's the 4-step process that we are following. Now, define forms a very, very integral component, because if you don't define your field properly, everything collapses. You need to have, I have spoken to recently, I was talking to one of the former USCIS adjudicator, and he was saying that, somebody sent a almost 8,000 pages petition, but the field was very broad. It said just the person is a beneficiary, is a management expert. But what management expert we are talking about? Now, now to determine expertise, we use, there are multiple ways to do that. Number one is you pick up from your academic field the way you do things. Number two is you see what impact that you have created and you reverse engineer the expertise. Now, and sometimes even the third, we place a right nomenclature. For example, we had somebody whose expertise, he was working with DoorDash, and he was kind of more of a logistics engineer there actually, so for software. So, rather than just saying that software logistic engineer, the right word that we semantically used up was, I think, geospatial software engineering. Now, this is something that places your expertise at a very level profundity. Tomorrow, your field of expertise should be such that it can become a subject itself actually. Now, imagine, and it should have that kind of a profundity. For example, in 1970s, somebody would have said that I am expert in, let's say, data transfer from one machine to another. People would have possibly laughed at it. But what is the manifestation of that expertise in that whole during that time till today? But if, let us say, we are in 1970s and somebody is kind of saying that my expertise is data transfer from one machine to another, can he give a vision of the entire web, World Wide Web today? Before, I'm sure somebody has done that. Somebody would have done that in 1970s. That's why we have internet today. Somebody would have started working on that concept. So are you a kind of a person of doing that? Otherwise, just to have a data transfer, it looks like from one machine to another is not something looks very fancy. But it gave rise to today the entire internet, entire web. Now, can you have that kind of vision for your expertise? Now, that's the field of expertise and that's the field of your endeavor. If you are able to do this, I think it is not about narrow or broad. It's about how deep you can get into it. And I come back again, and your expertise has to be widely demonstrated and explicitly demonstrated in that. Okay? So I know I have taken a long time to answer this, but this is very important. Now let's take a last question for the day before I think in the future, if somebody has more questions, please write to us. We're happy to, kind of take the questions and we are happy to help you. Okay, let's move to the next.
Yeah, sure. If I don't have any nationally recognized awards, how can I demonstrate comparable distinctions or recognition in my field? I currently work as a senior program manager for Capgemini for the past 10 years and made many innovations that have had major impact to the programs I have run in the past.
I mean, okay, I like your kind of approach and the work. The question is, the awards are straightforward here actually. Okay, now it's not about comparing why you necessarily want to go for award. Maybe you have created, you say that you have demonstrated distinction or recognition in the field, many innovations. Those innovations could possibly fall as original contribution. It could how your clients were impacted. The number two would be how your critical role becomes very strong, and I'm very sure you because of that your salary becomes strong. How kind of what has been the impact of your work, and of course you can fulfill other criterias. When you were working for Capgemini, was the work by Capgemini recognized in the media? Was it because of your work? Even if your work was, your name may or may not be there in the media publication, but still was your work recognized? Now, if you do, kind of a record things like this, I'm very sure that this will work actually. So I would rather say that if you don't have a necessary award, don't feel. You see, there are certain fields when you're working as a part of an overall machinery, recognition may not be necessarily for you. Let's understand that. Maybe you and your team got an award. That can be used. There are a lot of simplifications that can happen. In your field, you're not allowed to talk about your clients outside. So in that case, how is the recognition? How would you say, let's ask ourselves in the question, you are expert in a particular field, okay? Let's say, and how, if you were to name top 10 experts in your field who are well known, who can command high salary, who can just kind of, whom you would consider as, if I may use the word for the short of any other word, let's say demigods. Okay. Today, if I say that for example, if I may say that investment expert, then I can say that, I can name Warren Buffett, for example. He would be really one of the finest, investors of our times. Now, who are those people actually? Do they have how many? Have they won any awards? Have they won any other, kind of? What is the recognition that they have earned because of virtue of their work? You just have to kind of identify that. Can you be on that path? Frankly speaking, without knowing your expertise, without knowing your work, I can only speak to this extent only actually. So that's all, I would say for you, and wish you all the best. If you need further clarification, reach out to Seema, Syria, or I. And, and guys, if anybody else has any questions, we are there to help you. Please reach out to us. And if you want to join the program, reach to Syria, Seema, or I. We'll be there to help you. So have a wonderful day, guys, and wish you all the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.